While the world has paid plenty of attention to U.S. President Donald Trump's moves to rewrite or cancel his country's trade agreements, another country with a similar strategy has been flying under the radar. China is embarking on an aggressive $300 billion plan to become nearly self-sufficient by the year 2025, a move that will give Chinese companies a major edge in the push to squeeze out foreign enterprise. Joining me to look at what this will all mean for Canada and the world is Amy Karam, author of The China Factor. Thank you for being here this morning.
Thanks for having me, Ben.
Well, so this is a big, bold, brash headline, China self-sufficient by 2025. But what does it actually mean? What is this plan that China is putting in place?
Essentially, they're going to offer Chinese companies large and very low-interest loans. They're going to help them purchase foreign competitors, and they're going to subsidize a lot more research. But quite frankly, this isn't anything really new. They've just formalized it and declared it in a more formalized, concrete way. They've been doing this for maybe 10, 20 years. In fact, when I was in Silicon Valley working for a high-tech multinational there, the Chinese government had given $10 billion to just one company to help them with their global expansion. So there's a lot of cries about unfair trade, and what is the WTO going to do about this? But it's just really status quo amplified.
So if it is the status quo, if they have been doing this for the better part of 20 years, but they're changing course by announcing it, what prompted this change?
It could be a rebranding strategy. I think China wants to become known for a quality provider and not just the manufacturer for the world's low-cost goods. Their people are also becoming much more advanced, and they want to prep the next generation for a higher value chain jobs going forward. They want to make sure that their key talent is not going to leave China. And they're also telling the world that they're growing and they're back. This blip has only been a short-term thing for China. China was a world-dominating country for many, many years, many centuries, in fact. And so this is, I think, essentially their call that this is their comeback strategy.
Well, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. How can we expect the foreign companies already based in China to react to this?
Well, I think they need to be cautious, but China has not been a cakewalk so far anyway. I think they've made it difficult for foreign companies to operate in China. And in fact, they've been requiring joint venture partnerships for foreign companies to play there. And I think, in fact, this could be an opportunity for foreign companies and countries to start planting seeds in other emerging countries. This could actually be good for global trade, in fact, because I think this gives other emerging countries the opportunity to grow as well. So I think, yeah, go ahead.
No, please go on.
No, I don't think that they need to necessarily leave, but they need to be there with their eyes wide open. I mean, HP, for example, had to give up 51% ownership for their Chinese server business just to play in China. And Meg Whitman was very open and saying, I don't want to lose this market opportunity. China is too big for foreign countries to ignore, but they need to be cautious.
So it seems to be looking inward economically at home while positioning itself as a leader of free trade abroad. It seems like conflicting strategies, but you're saying there is room for companies from outside of China to grow within this odd set of new rules.
Yes, question mark, right? It's to be determined. I think the government's making it really difficult. The Chinese government is making it very difficult for companies coming abroad. And I get asked by my clients all the time, should we do a joint venture? Is our intellectual property safe with them? Look, China has used the West to grow in the past. They've used their manufacturing expertise to learn about innovation, and they've done a good job at being innovation growth agents, really. And we could actually learn a little bit from them. it could be a win-win scenario. I think they also are very good at being political. They can talk a good game, and they're positioning themselves as wanting to be fair players. But at the end of the day, you know, it's a who's number one game.
Well, author of The China Factor, Amy Karam, thank you for your insights this morning.